Welcome to a special midweek Cohn phone. I'm Mr. Cohn Grant. Some people call me Iggy. I'll be taking your calls for about the next 60 to 90 minutes. I want to first talk about the reports and the news that's coming out of the combine. Lynch spoke today, said some interesting things, was asked about Jimmy Garoppolo's shoulder surgery. I think everyone was sort of waiting for the thumb surgery. No one really thought he was going to need shoulder surgery, and he's going to have it. Hasn't had it yet. Going to have surgery on his throwing shoulder. Lynch asked about it today, and he was like, look, I hate to say any surgery is minor, but it's essentially minor. He has some capsule issue in his shoulder. You could rehab it without surgery, and Jimmy has decided that he's going to have surgery, is basically what he said. So very interesting. Lynch always says, like, the tone of his voice doesn't really match the content of what he's saying. He always says things in a very like, oh, gee, who cares? This is, But what he says is like, if you just read the transcript, what you're saying is that Jimmy didn't really need surgery and it's minor, and you're surprised that he's doing it. And so my question here is, why did Jimmy Garoppolo wait a month? I mean, he's still waiting. He hasn't even done it yet. Why is Jimmy Garoppolo waiting so long to have this surgery? It's a weird thing. I mean, he could have got it done 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Season's been over. Interesting to me. I think, well, here's where my mind goes. This is really going to make it harder for the Niners to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, God knows when he has the surgery, but they say he's not going to be ready until training camp. That just makes him less appealing. He's a 30-year-old injury-prone quarterback coming off a major surgery to his throwing shoulder. He won't be ready for OTAs, won't be ready for minicamp. And you're going to have to trade for him. Give up a draft pick for a bridge quarterback that teams may not want for more than 1 year. He might be a 1-year placeholder for a team that's drafting a quarterback or has a young guy, or it wants to draft a quarterback next year. I mean, who's trading for that? So I think it's possible that Jimmy knows that. His agent, Don Yee, knows that. And by waiting and creating this situation, they want him to be released. Why would they want Jimmy Garoppolo to be released? Well, a couple of reasons. It would allow him to pick his destination. The Niners are going to send him theoretically to whatever team gives them the best return for Jimmy Garoppolo, Whatever team's willing to offer a third. And if it's Houston, you got to go to Houston. If it's, whatever bad team, that's where you got to go. Maybe Jimmy doesn't want to do that. Maybe Jimmy isn't trying to help the Niners squeeze out a better pick in return. Maybe he'd rather pick his destination. I think Don Yee probably understands that Jimmy would be a whole lot more attractive to teams like Washington and Pittsburgh, teams that could win with Jimmy next year, if Jimmy were a free agent. Be a lot more of a viable option if he were a free agent than if you had to trade for him. Also, Jimmy has no guaranteed money left on his contract. So weird things could happen to him this year. If he gets released and signs a new deal elsewhere, it won't be for $27 million a year, but he'll get guaranteed money. It could be a 1-year deal. He sort of takes control of his career again. So maybe Jimmy Garoppolo and Don Yee want the Niners to release him. And you know what? I think they freaking should. Because who cares about the 4th-round pick or the 5th-round pick you might get for him? Just release him. What's more important is to get the salary cap space as soon as possible, as opposed to waiting. Because if the Niners trade Jimmy, they're going to have to wait, right? People are going to want to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, because he's down the pecking order of quarterbacks you want to trade for. So by the time you finally maybe trade him for a 4th-round pick, the first wave of free agency is over. The second wave of free agency is over. You haven't been able, so you save cap space, but you can't use it this year. You want to use the cap space in wave 1 of free agency so you can get a number 1 cornerback or a playmaker at strong safety. You want to get a good player in free agency because Jimmy Garoppolo is off the books. You don't want to wait around, trade him late, not be able to use the cap space. Cut him. Jimmy Garoppolo is forcing the issue. I don't think it's a big problem. Who cares about the 4th-round pick you were going to get? Whatever. It's not a big deal. What's more important is getting $25 million in cap space as soon as free agency starts. So I think maybe Jimmy's forcing the Niners' hand, and I think they should just say, okay, fine. And just spin it as, we're the good guys here. Jimmy Garoppolo, he had this surgery. He really tanked his own value. But you know what? We'll be the good guys, and we won't hold him hostage. We'll cut him and let him find his own team. because we don't really care about the 5th round pick or the 6th. Because if he was worth a 4th round pick without shoulder surgery, what's he worth coming off a surgery knowing you won't have him until July, August, a 6th, anything, maybe nothing. Who wants multiple years of Jimmy Garoppolo? Who wants to trade for 1 year of Jimmy Garoppolo coming off a surgery? Nah. I think he's getting released. I think he's going to get released. They're saying there's significant interest in Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, as a free agent. So we'll see. I think he's getting released. I think he wants to get released. I think he wants to pick his own team. Let's see if the Niners hold him hostage. They shouldn't. Get that cap space, baby. Jacob Mayhew says, should have played the kid. Yeah, all of a sudden, they love Trey Lance, right? Let's talk about that. Other thing John Lynch was doing was just gushing about Trey Lance. This was interesting because he's never really done that yet. Kyle Shanahan has been complimentary at times of Trey Lance. John Lynch, since the moment they drafted Trey Lance, has only talked about Jimmy Garoppolo. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not only, but 95%. It's all been about Jimmy Garoppolo. They traded up. He was like, man, I just want to say that Jimmy's been such a pro. Jimmy's handled this so great. And he was so convincing. I really felt at times that John Lynch didn't want Trey Lance and really was upset that they were moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo. Now he's changed his tune. Now he says, look, I mean, you don't give 3 first-round picks for a player not to use them. He said that today. You don't trade 3 first-round picks for a player not to use them, meaning Trey Lance. He said he's been making wild plays in practice, really developed a lot, even though he didn't play in games. Kyle found ways to develop. He's ready. Kyle found ways to develop him in practice. He had wild play. He was saying all this stuff that was off limits. You could not say that. I saw this. I saw this in training camp last year. But all John Lynch would say is Jimmy's having the best training camp of his life. Jimmy's taking it to another level. Trey Lance, not quite ready yet. All of a sudden, forget all that. Jimmy, thanks for everything. But Trey Lance, been developed. You don't spend all that money to not play him. I think what's happening is that John Lynch was never enamored with Jimmy Garoppolo the way he made it seem the last year. He was just trying to pump up Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value. The Niners had a plan. Draft Trey Lance, keep Jimmy Garoppolo 1 more year, develop Lance on the bench since he's a project, and rehabilitate Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value. They did part 1, in their opinion. I don't think they did part 2. I think they're realizing not only are they not going to be able to trade him for a 1st-round pick or a 2nd-round pick or a 3rd-round pick, they might just end up having to release him because of this surgery thing. So the pump and dump failed, essentially. I mean, it hasn't failed. Maybe they'll get that 3rd-round pick, but essentially, probably the pump and dump failed. That was the mission this year. Pump up Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value and dump him on an unsuspecting team that thinks he's really good for a nice pick. Not going to happen. So what's the point of keeping up the charade at this point? Who cares? Just, especially when you got that charade trying to pump up Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value at Trey Lance's expense, led to Joe Montana saying he heard players say Trey Lance isn't ready. Okay, now you got a problem. Now you got a real problem, and you created it with this pump and dump that failed. So now you know you're not getting a better deal than you would have got last year. You turned down a 3rd round last year. Old joke's on you. Okay, but at least you're going to get some cap space for him. You'll wash your hands of him. You got to start pumping up Trey Lance. He's a starter of this team. You're not getting anything from Jimmy Garoppolo by saying you like him. That doesn't help anymore. It only undercuts Trey Lance time to move on and say, whatever we get for Jimmy, great. If we cut him, at least we got the cap space. Trey Lance is our starter. They didn't say that. And then he did open. John Lynch did leave the door open that Jimmy could come back. But basically he said they're going to be using Trey. So I don't believe it. You can't bring Jimmy Garoppolo back as a $27 million backup. It doesn't make any sense. It would be poisonous to the locker room. I think he's saying that to just sort of preserve some trade value, but I don't think it's there. So that's why he's suddenly gushing about Trey Lance. He should have been gushing about Trey Lance the whole time. He was making wow plays in training camp last year, while John Lynch said Jimmy Garoppolo was the star of camp, having his best year ever. That was a waste. That was gaslighting at its finest. This is what I saw. And it's funny that it took him this long to say it. But I guess when you realize that Jimmy Garoppolo is about to have another surgery, it's like, well, what's the freaking point? Maybe we'll just tell the truth about Trey Lance. And you know what I say to that? You should have played the kid last year. Should have been honest with your fans. Should have been honest with yourself. Should have played the kid last year. But at least you're going to play him next year. All right. One more thing that John Lynch said, then I'll take your calls. John Lynch, again, he takes jabs. He says interesting things with a chuckle in his voice, and you think he's joking around or it's not that serious. Then you run it back and you're like, what the hell did he just say? So he was asked by Peter Schrager, what are you going to do? How are you going to fill out this coaching staff? You've lost so many coaches. What are you going to do? And he gives this kind of aw shucks, like, oh, we got it under control. Like, but what he says is it's kind of an interesting situation because a lot of the guys they lost had been with Kyle forever, back to Washington, in some cases back to Houston 15 years ago when Kyle was a position coach. And what Lynch went on to say was, like it's almost family to him. Now Kyle has to find new coaches. And the thing about him is he's not much of a networker, which I think Lynch's exact words. Kyle Shanahan is not much of a networker, he said with a laugh and a smile, meaning it's going to be a little tricky to find new coaches because Kyle was really leaning on his limited network that he's had since he was in his 20s. Damn. I mean, what he's saying really is that like Kyle is totally tunnel vision, laser focused on one thing, his offense, his team, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't network around the league. And the implication is, don't worry, I do. Don't worry, I got it. John Lynch, he'll handle it. He's going to be proposing. You have a life-size picture of John Lynch coming to Kyle Shanahan being like, I found you a quarterback coach. Don't worry. That's so funny to me. I would love to hear Kyle Shanahan's response to that. Like, really? I don't network? Well, you do? Who do you know, John? Who do you know? You knew Solomon Thomas because you took a class with him at Stanford. How'd that networking go? I thought that was a fun little jab because I don't think that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are like as super best friends as they make it seem, although they get along, but not much of a networker. Oh, well, that's rough for a coach who has to replace like 5 position coaches. But what he did say is that despite Kyle Shanahan being a complete recluse and a non-networker, that coaches want to work for him. So I guess Anthony Lynn reached out to the 49ers and was like, hey, Kyle, I know you don't reach out to people, but I think I could be good for you. And Kyle's like, agree. Thanks for calling to me. Maybe. But I don't know. That was a nice little jab from Lynch. Is Lynch a networker? I guess he is. He doesn't call me though. What's up with that? You don't want me in your network, John? That's weak. All right, let's take some calls. Boom. There it is. I'm ready when you guys are. There's the link in the chat box, in the description, both places. We can talk for the next hour or so. Then I gotta go. Waiting for someone to get the courage to call in to the biggest show on YouTube. The biggest show. Oh, CG Ruthless. What's up?
What's up, bro? What's up?
How you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. Hey, let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value, bro. I was going to get to that topic.
Please, let's talk about
it. Would you be okay with a 5th round draft pick?
Yeah, I'd take it. I would take anything at this point. I'd take a 6th.
Yeah, hey, dude, I like
this surgery complicates it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does because his injury and injury history. Like, if you want to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo for a 1st or early rounds, you're losing your mind. A late round, you could take a gamble at this point.
Exactly. I mean, because what team that brings him on is going to say, we want him for 2 years. We want him for 3 years. It's possible he's just a 1-year stopgap until he proves otherwise, in which case you're not trading much for that, especially coming off of surgery.
Yeah, and it's a red flag because he can't stay healthy, and he's nothing more than a game manager. A team like Pittsburgh, they would want a quarterback, but would you want to give up anywhere higher than that? No, maybe a 5th round pick if I'm any other team.
Why trade a 4th for Jimmy when you could just sign like Mitchell Trubisky for way cheaper? It's just saying.
Yeah, he would be cheaper.
He's trying to get released. Do you agree with my premise that Jimmy's trying to get released by waiting so long to get the surgery?
I think that's what he's trying to do because he knows that no other team wants him.
But if he's on the free agent market, I think teams would want him. It'd be a whole different thing.
No draft capitals.
He wants to go to the best team possible. The Niners want to trade him. And I don't think Pittsburgh's going to trade for him. But if he wants to end up in Pittsburgh, he can say, well, if I get released, I'll be there. And maybe Pittsburgh's saying, hey, find out a way to get released because we can't trade for you. But if you can get them to cut you, boom, you're our guy.
Yeah,
so good job, Don.
Because you would save enough money in draft capital, and you wouldn't have to pay him like $20+ million to be your starter if you're not really sure about him. Because if you would have acquired him, it would have been a 1-year rental for him. But if you wait for him to get cut, you won't have to pay him nothing more than what you're going to pay him anyways.
And I think they got to cut him because it's not worth waiting deep into free agency to get a better pick when you could get $25 million in cap space day one of free. That's what you want. That's what you need. You can't sacrifice that. So you might get a 3rd round pick. You might get a 4th round pick. Like, that's not, who cares? Who gives a damn about a 4th round pick? Honestly, it's not as important as $25 million in cap space that you could have.
Yeah.
You gotta
wait. But a draft capital is a win-win, even if we get something in return. Even if it's a 5th round, I'm cool with it.
Hey, if it's a 5th round pick or like now, do it. But don't wait a month and a half. Don't get the 5th round pick in freaking May or mid-April. You know?
Yeah. So, dude, let me give you some good suggestion of it, man. Like, I was kind of buying into what you were saying about the George Kittle trade, and I was like thinking, damn, bro, we're gonna give up for our 6 offensive linemen for an All-Pro corner that's gonna expect more top dollars. Well, this guy's getting.
Yeah, I know he's been unhappy with his contract forever, right?
But how much is he demanding? Because I know he's
is not so much that I want Xavier Howard so bad. It's that I'm legitimately afraid of him getting hurt again and having a downward spiral in terms of value like Jimmy, because he's expensive. And if he's also looked at as injury prone, then I don't know that you're going to get much in a trade for him, even though he's good, because he's getting $16 million a year, like Jimmy getting 27. You know what I mean? That's what I'm nervous about, is the injury stuff. And Niner fans don't even want to go there.
Well, I'm okay with Trey Lance being our guy because we needed him to develop, but a lot of the cap space is hurting us with Jimmy G on our roster. So we got to cut our losses and get somebody else. Like maybe sign a Mitchell Trubisky to back up Trey Lance. He would be a perfect backup, or Tyrod Taylor. Which one do you think is a better option?
I think it's going to be Tyrod because I think Trubisky is going to start somewhere next year. It almost sounds like he's the top free agent option. Like he'd go to the Commanders. So I think Tyrod will be the guy.
Yeah, it's a good market for a new name team. So it's like I would think any other team will want to be a starter over there just for Ron Rivera and a lot of other guys out there.
Absolutely. And, you know, maybe Jimmy wants to go there, but I think he's figured out that he's only going to get himself to a good situation if he gets himself cut. So he's doing everything the right way.
Yeah, I think his values kind of plummet. So at this point, yeah.
All right, man. I'll see you around. Good call.
All right, bro. Peace.
Eugene, hold on. I got to get Jay Novel in because but you're next. Hold on. I'm not going anywhere.
At this point, yeah.
Hey, turn that off. What you listening to? What's up?
Yo.
Racine's finest.
Hey, let's talk about this from a business standpoint, man. This is what I don't understand.
Okay.
If you're on the coaching staff, why would you not be excited about the upcoming season, right? So I get Mike McDaniel. He leaves. Greener pastures, career opportunity, right? But why would all of the assistants, all the way from position coaches all the way down, why would they all be fleeing the franchise?
That was my question.
Understand from a business standpoint.
And I was talking to my dad about it yesterday, and he thinks they're not fleeing. He thinks Kyle's pushing them out.
No, so
go ahead. That's what he thinks. He thinks Kyle's pushing these guys out.
No, so does Kyle grade on his coaches the way Harbaugh graded on the players?
It's totally possible, right? What do you think?
So what bothers me is that if I'm an offensive coach in this offense and I'm so excited about all the possibilities with all these weapons, and then our TE1 becomes only a run blocker.
Yes.
And our wide receiver 1 becomes a running back. And our wide receiver 2 is a nothing for the first 7 weeks of the season. True. Right? Like all my ideas that I'm presenting in these coaches' meetings are all being shit canned. Yes. And everything that I'm suggesting that we do is like, nah, we're going to poo-poo that. We need to get Debo an eye for him.
Yeah, I can see Wes Welker being like, well, what am I doing here?
Right.
What am I doing?
What is my value?
You my best player, you put at running back. What's my role here?
Why, as a tight ends coach, am I spending any time coaching any of these guys up when our all-world tight end gets 0 targets, 2 targets, 1 target, 3 targets? I'm like,
how could Embry not go to Kyle Shanahan after the NFC Championship game where Kittle got 2 targets and be like, yo, what the fuck? And why wouldn't Kyle be like, oh, well, you can leave then?
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't like what I'm doing, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. And then what's up with the quarterback coach? Maybe he was a Jimmy guy.
But just imagine having all these ideas and all these weapons at your disposal, and none of your ideas are implemented. Right. Like I constantly think back to the New Orleans game of 2019 when Garoppolo had to do it all on his own, and the offense was humming and everything worked.
Yeah.
Every single the entire playbook was at your disposal, and we're scoring 40 points with nobody.
Yeah.
We got all backup offensive linemen, and we don't have our running back one. We don't have our receivers. Everybody's gone, and we scored 40 points, and we won a shootout. And now that we have a healthy roster and we have all these weapons at our disposal, sorry, but we're going to put our wide receiver one at running back, and we're just going to run in between the tackles.
Yeah, and Kittle is going to be basically a blocker. That's what we're paying for.
Like, as a businessman, I think all of these coaches made a business decision, and they're like, look, man, like all of my ideas no longer matter.
Yeah.
Everything that I want to see happen, I'm presenting these to the coaches, and all this is just being shit canned, and I just got to go, man. Like, I've done all the work I can. I've tried to build up the bench. I've tried to build up the Ross Dwelley's and Juwan Jennings. And Jennings, salute to him, man, because he balled, right? But like
Ross Dwelley never got a chance. He would do something good, never see him again. It's
and I don't think Ross Dwelley is some game-changing tight end, man. And we joke around on Twitter, right? But like to not even have a target, bro. Like to not even have a target.
Like why is he on your team then? Why did you have him on your team? What's the point? You buried him. So you think a lot of these people are just like, enough, dude. Like I'm not doing anything here. It's a waste of time. It's all.
How can I grow? How can I grow as a coach, right? Like as far as my growth potential and what I'm bringing to the table, if all of it is being poo-pooed, then it's just like, all right, man, I got to go somewhere else where my opinion is going to be valued, whether it be college, whether it be some horrific offense to where my opinion of what we can do and what we're capable of is welcome, right? Like I have a seat at the table and my opinion matters.
And it's interesting that Mike McDaniel over in Miami is like, hey, Embry, Wes.
Right.
Well, hey, I'll listen to you. Why don't you come over here? Like Kyle's own underling sort of understanding and taking advantage. Poaching.
Right.
Yes.
Imagine I truly believe Shanahan is a genius, man. But like, I don't know. Like it
doesn't mean he's a social genius.
It'll be interesting to see how his coaching staff bringing on Anthony Lynn. Like now he's got to reach out to dudes that he didn't build that relationship with over the last decade. And now he's got to hear more opinions, though, of established coaches.
Right. Anthony Lynn is his boy from childhood. Anthony Lynn will be like, I disagreed with what you did here. Let's talk about that. I would have done this differently. Kyle, you ready for that? You haven't had that yet. Haven't had that yet. I can't wait. I like your perspective on this. I think I agree.
But I love you, man, and I appreciate you.
Thanks for calling in. It's the first time.
I'm glad that you got a smile on your face, man. It's good to see. Just keep doing your thing, man. We'll get these other guys on here, but thanks for bringing me on, man. Be smooth,
good
bro.
to see you, man. It's been a while. Peace.
Yep.
Eugene, thanks for waiting. How are you?
Honestly, kind of tired from work. I worked about 20 hours in the past 2 days.
Oh, dang. That's a lot. Yeah. Let's get right into it, man. What's on your mind?
Starting off with a hot take, the 49ers might miss the playoffs next year.
Why?
Only reason because a lot of coaches and a lot of turnover with Trey Lance, because I feel like the whole thing why we succeeded so much this season is because Debo made that switch. Like he became an absolute stud.
Yes.
He's not going to be that next year, really, because they don't want to play him at running back and risk his health. And because Trey Lance can also throw more than 10 yards down the field.
Also, it was a contract year for Debo. He was on like another level. I wonder if he'll have that same drive because he was the most driven player in the league last year. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, like he will definitely be a 1,000-yard receiver for the next 10.
If he stays healthy,
as long as he's healthy. Yeah. But as like giving him the ball at the running back, like we did in the Dallas game, I just don't know if you want to do that with Trey Lance because Trey Lance can basically do that. A QB read option like with Lamar Jackson.
Like, but the thing is, if they stop doing that, they may miss the playoffs. Like that was such a key component of their run. Debo at running back, he averaged 6 yards a carry from the shot, 7 yards a carry from the shotgun. I think.
Oh yeah,
7 yards, 8 yards. Yeah, you can't replace that.
You can't. But they only did that because of Garoppolo. Like they sprinkled it in a little bit his rookie year and his second year, but really this year, like they're like, you're the running back now. And he's not going to want to be paid as a running back. He wants to get paid $20 million a
Okay,
year
so
as a wide receiver.
why the Niners could miss the playoffs this year? First, big turnover in the coaching staff.
Yeah,
two,
turnover.
Not just the transition for a quarterback, but they have a ton of free agents. This team could look a lot different. And last year, a lot of the free agents came back for two reasons. One, the cap went down. There weren't options. And maybe they wanted to run it back with Jimmy. Now, new quarterback. A lot of the vets may not want to play with the 21-year-old rookie. Maybe they don't believe in him. And two, the cap's going up. They may have better options elsewhere.
Yeah, and honestly, I hope we improve our O-line, but I just don't see it. Trey Lance, besides the left side, I think we're going to lose Lakin to Miami. Makes too much sense to me. And Alex Mack is what, almost 45, 50?
Yeah, roughly.
I get it. He's still statistically as rated. He's a top 10 center, but he's old. And you got no one on the right side. Trey Lance is mobile, so he'll be able to patch that up a little bit. But our offensive line, I just don't feel like is going to take the step forward that we need. And our running game is going to suffer because of that. And also, if you look at it, in my opinion, Elijah Mitchell was the best running back from the class he was drafted in. Better than Najee, at least in my opinion. But Kyle gives him 25 carries a game, and it breaks my heart because it's like he only played 10 games?
Yeah.
And of those 10 games, 5 of them were over 100 yards.
Yeah.
He's got potential. But because of the bad O-line, the turnover in coaches, and everyone just kind of seeing, well, okay, it's our first year with Trey Lance. We got to run things a little bit differently. Like, if it's not ready in 3 seconds, he actually has the ability to take off and run. And now they got to block an open space. And that's just kind of a different dynamic that I don't know if the 49ers could be good. I don't think they're going to be a 5-win team, but I think they'll win around 8-9 games and have a lot of potential. But just sadly, we just don't have enough guys because all the veterans left. And realistically, we'd lose Key. Who's on the left side now? We'd lose Jones. You trust Kinlaw? I don't really trust Kinlaw. I have some knee problems, and my knee don't feel good all the time. So I could only imagine what a 6'5", 350-pound man that has to go against other men like that for a living. I don't trust that knee. And I trust the D-line coach, but it's just a lot of things are just pointing to we might miss the playoffs this year. But I don't see that as a bad thing, honestly.
Good call, Eugene. I got to take more callers, but you killed it.
Of course.
Thank you. All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Nico, what's up? You're muted. Just got to press the little microphone button.
Sorry about that. Hi, Mr. Cohn.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Nice to meet you, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Just want to talk a little bit about what you guys were saying about free agency coming up. I definitely agree with you guys. I think there's got to be urgency to get rid of Jimmy, whether it's by trade or cutting him. Because if you don't get rid of him now, you're going to lose guys like Lincoln, DJ, and Arden Key. So
that's the main point. I don't care about if it's if right now we're all talking about is it the difference between a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick? I don't give a damn. You need the salary cap space now, not in a month. I mean, you need it in 2 weeks. You need it in 12 days.
For sure.
12 days.
I was going to say, and the thing is, looking at it from a different perspective, you traded a 2nd rounder. I think you got your worth from him. They've been to 2 NFC championships. I get it. The fan in you wants the picks. You want it. I want all those picks, but you got the worth out of it. So you got to look forward to the future now.
I would think so. I think the only thing that's complicating it is the fact that it was reported that they turned down a 3rd round pick from last year. Oh, well, I mean, they went to the NFC Championship game, right? I mean, you don't know for sure that they would have made it there with Trey Lance, although I think they would have went further. But you don't know that. And they can say, well, look, we got another run. It was worth it. We gave Trey Lance time to learn on the bench. It was worth it. Now he has to go.
Yeah.
Has to go.
And I think, like you've said, the Niners were trying to probably get a 1 last year, and that's why they kept Jimmy, hoping to get maybe a 1 this year. But you got to cut bait and just roll with Trey. That's what I think.
It's too bad that he started playing well after the trade deadline, right?
Yeah, that's true.
He was pretty weak before the trade deadline. Anyway, we call from Nico.
Yeah, and just if you don't mind, I just want to tell you thank you. I've been going through a lot and with work and everything. Just listening to your content gets me through the day. So I appreciate it, Grant.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad I can come through for you, man. I will be here every day.
All right, sounds good. Take care.
All right, Nico. Peace. Let me make sure I don't got any. Okay. Bye, Ben Myerson. What's up, Bye, Ben Myerson? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Grant?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I know you and I usually agree on a lot, but I gotta tell you, man, you're crazy. Why do you want to trade George Kittle? I don't get it.
Injuries.
No, I know, but I want to talk.
Reason.
I want to talk through it for a second because the one problem I have, I think, with your point overall, because I think you hit a lot of important things with Kittle. One, his age, his injury history, types of injuries he's been having, his level of play to an extent. But I also think that in terms of his value, if he has another season like he had this past year, I don't think his value is going to go down that much. I really don't think so, because at this point in his career, with how tight ends have been, I just don't think much has changed for George Kittle in these past few years. It seems like since he had that breakout year, it's been a lot of the same, right? Those injuries here and there, and then he plays some of the season. He fights through injuries. He gets close to 1,000 yards, but he doesn't get the touchdowns that maybe he should. And I think the main thing for me, though, that the real reason I want to keep George Kittle is because I think it'd be totally unfair to Trey Lance to not bring in George Kittle to this offense next season. And that's kind of the main thing for me, is that with the 49ers, they're in such a win now mode. They're in such a window. And for me, I always talk about with teams and maximizing what they can do. It's that Super Bowl window. And I understand financially, I think you make some great points in terms of value for George Kittle, but in terms of what the team wants to do in terms of maximizing the Super Bowl window, I think it mightn't be a mistake to trade Kittle, because I really don't know who
you're assuming he's going to be healthy.
I am, but I think that's a fair concern. But I also think if he wasn't particularly healthy next season, you could still get value for him next year and beyond. And they do.
But I don't know. Well, hold on, let's stick with that, because I don't know. I think it's going to go down. To me, like Vish was on the show a couple days ago, and he said they could still trade him if he has a down season, because Gronkowski still had trade value despite getting hurt. First of all, Rob Gronkowski scored about like 1 million touchdowns in the NFL. Kittle has like 20. And the thing is, starting this year, Kittle's going to take up 7.7% of the cap. The year after is 7.2. The year after that is 7.1. That's really freaking high for a tight end. And especially a tight end who in a year could have the reputation of being injury prone. You know, 3 years in a row, he hasn't hit 1,000 yards. And it's like, he's still a good player, but man, is he expensive.
But they also do have the financial out in his contract after 2023. If you go over to Spot Track, they show you that they can basically get out of his contract in 2 years and only have $4.5 million in dead cap. So in terms of financially,
they can cut him.
They could just straight up. I mean,
but I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, to me, I'd rather trade a guy a year early than cut him 2 years late.
That's fair. And
I know, like, again, a lot of people will be like, you can't do this to Trey Lance. Well, what if Kittle gets hurt week 1 again, like last year, and it's non-contact? What I think would be really tough would be worse for Trey Lance. This is the way I look at it. I'm not trying to say trade George Kittle for a pick. I'm trying to say trade him for a great player in another position you need who's durable. Because what would really hurt Lance is if Kittle goes down and there's no replacement. It's just $16 million on the bench. That would hurt Lance the most. Is he thinking about it, or is he frozen? I think I just shocked him with the best point anyone's ever made. Look, he's frozen in time. He's like, damn. Oh, what's up? How you doing?
Okay, I'm back. There you are. Yeah, no, don't worry. I just have terrible college Wi-Fi.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I thought I just shocked you with my great points. Anyway, did you hear me?
Not really, actually. No, I kind of missed it.
I forgot what I said. I think you won the argument.
No, I just think.
No, what I said was,
okay.
Yes, you would be taking George Kittle away from Lance, but you'd be replacing him with another great player in another position in need. What would hurt Lance the most is for Kittle to get hurt and to have $16 million of dead cap essentially on the bench. That would hurt the most. And I know people would be like, why would you assume that would happen? Why would you assume it won't?
No, I think that's a really fair point. But also, in terms of replacing George Kittle with another tight end, you're not going to find a better run blocker or someone who's going to impact the run game like he does. And quite honestly, Grant, the one thing I feel like you're glossing over the most is Jimmy Garoppolo. As much as he does target George Kittle, I think he's going to be a lot better with Trey Lance. And I know you said yourself,
when healthy.
Yeah. Well, and it's every 49er, man. It's every 40.
I don't know, man. Kittle, you can't say that his injury history is less concerned. I mean, dude, he's having non-contact lower leg injuries.
It's
he was this close to popping his Achilles this year. This freaking close. They had to manage him very closely. I don't know, dude. I'm scared about it. I'm scared about it.
And look, I don't think you'd be like wrong.
If he gets hurt week 1, everyone's gonna have to apologize to me on Twitter, including you.
You're just gonna go. You're gonna be ranting.
Like, there you go. See that it'll be times like that when not being a fan of the team you cover pays off, because I'm looking at him as just a guy who could be playing for the Rams right now. And a lot of Niner fans are like, I love this guy because he was my guy. Nah, he's just a guy who's about to be 29. I don't know. All right. I just hope he makes it through the whole season if he plays, because Lance needs him. This team needs him. They can't afford
it's
all
so
that money
dependent on his health, man. And you're totally right about that. And I think that concern is like something like fans like, what can you do about that? Like ultimately, Kittle's injury history is what it is the last few years.
People didn't want to hear about it when the Niners traded for D Ford. I mean, mostly fans don't want to hear that there's an injury history, and they want to say.
But to be fair, with guys like D Ford, Javon Kinlaw, those are situations where the 49ers should have known ahead of time. Those were situations where they actually made the mistakes. But
in fairness to the Niners, Kittle wasn't having non-contact leg injuries when they gave him this contract.
He wasn't.
This is new.
You're right.
And what's crazy about it too is that Kittle, first of all, he broke his foot last year. And he comes back into training camp this year way lighter. He's not as good of a run blocker as he used to be. Watch the film. So he comes in way lighter, and he's like, well, yeah, I got to make some adjustments so these non-contact lower body injuries don't keep happening. Week 1, it happened again. So he's got to find that adjustment, whatever it is. And there may not be an adjustment. This might be just called getting old. George, I'm a little older than you. I know what it's like. It might be called getting old.
Grant, he does have some advantages pointing his way, though, that if they do make the switch to Trey Lance, because he's not going to be getting hit at the same rate over the middle. He's gonna be getting split out wide more. I just think, like, I can't argue with you.
I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong.
But I hope he's a monster
too. He's a monster, and Trey really could use that trio as opposed to 2.
Oh my God!
What I'm afraid is that George Kittle is becoming a mirage. That's what I'm afraid of, and that what we're thinking about is 2019.
But also, Grant, I think you can point to several times this year in games where Kittle's wide open.
He had flashes this year, and I can't get over the fact that he was nowhere in the playoffs. But maybe Brian Fleury will make sure that doesn't happen again.
Oh man,
this whole George Kittle thing has been a lot of fun. Every time I post a video of George Kittle on YouTube, I lose like 40 subscribers. Like, people are super duper mad. So don't be. The only way I could post this as a video and not lose hella subscribers is why Grant Cohn is wrong about trading George Kittle. I think that might actually get maybe I'll do that. I think I'll do that.
You should.
Got me, man. Thanks.
And leave this little clip in here at the end, just so.
Yeah, I still say they should trade Hey, good stuff, man.
Oh, hey, real quick though, Grant. Man,
yes.
I think they're gonna cut Jimmy. Like real talk. Like, I think they're gonna cut Jimmy.
And I think Jimmy forced the issue with this.
He did.
He did.
Well, because first of all, the shoulder injury. I mean, I don't think it greatly affects any his value overall. But one thing I hung on to with that whole Adam Schefter tweet from yesterday was he specifically said Garoppolo will get moved within the next month. For the teams trading for Garoppolo, they have no incentive to trade for him by the end of March. In fact, they can wait this thing out until like June and then decide to do it. The team who really needs to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo is the 49ers. And they're the reason why this is a timely issue. It's because the new league year starts in 14 days. And yeah, they can get under the cap. Like you mentioned, they can get under the cap. They can do restructure.
They're over the cap right now, right?
But they're $4 million over the cap.
They're over the cap.
And if they want to spend money in free agency, you got to get rid of Garoppolo before then. So like,
if you want to keep Blake and Tomlinson, you got to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Otherwise, he's gone.
Not even keep Blake and Tomlinson, just bring in replacements. Right? They have like 28 players who are going to be free agents. They only have 30-something players on their current 53-man roster right now, and they're already $4 million over the cap. I think they're going to cut him, man. I think they're going to cut him.
I think so, too. Ben, I got to take more callers, but you killed it, man. Thanks for setting me straight.
Yeah, of course.
Later. All my friends coming on the show being like, hey, I really like you, Grant, but you really went over the board with this George Kittle thing. Yeah, Deadspin said so too. What's next? A Gawker hit piece about a 10-year-old tweet? Nah, man, my tweets are good. Kittle can block, which gives him trade value. I'll have a lot of like freezing cold takes that were tweets. Kittle can block, which gives him trade value. His blocking wasn't as good last year. The Niners were 16th in yards per carry last year. Brittle Kittle, trade him makes mock drafts more fun. That's what I'm saying. I want a first-round pick, but I'd rather trade him for Xavier Howard. Korean Niner, what's up?
I'm good, Grant. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm getting ready to go for a walk before lunch. So,
okay.
What fires are you starting now, man?
Nothing. I'm taking a day off and starting fires.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
I can't take the heat.
I would say this: if a team said, "Hey, we want to offer you a first and second for Kittle," at the very least, I gotta listen. What's the worst thing that could happen?
The worst thing that could happen is that George Kittle could have like a rebound season and be an all-pro and you whiff on both picks. But the best thing that could happen is that George Kittle's career continues on the trend that has been, and you dodge a bullet. You dodge a huge bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't want to think of George Kittle as Jimmy Garoppolo, but remember, 2 years ago the Niners could have got a 1 for Jimmy Garoppolo. After 2017, he probably was worth like 4 first-round picks when he was 5-0. After he lost the Super Bowl, I'd say about 1 first-round pick. Then last year was a 3rd. Now it's freaking nothing. Okay? I'm just saying, Niner fans, you don't want that to happen to Kittle if the injuries keep piling up.
Yep. Also with Jimmy and the surgery, I always felt Jimmy had very minimal trade value at best. So if they end up cutting him, it's no shock or surprise because it's a expensive proposition, as we've talked about, acquiring Jimmy and then having to possibly get another backup if he was to get hurt early in the next season.
Agreed.
So, but I do have one take. I think they need to re-sign Tart for this year. I don't trust Hufanga or Tavarius Moore as replacements. Hufanga is a special teamer as of today, and if he improves, that's great. But I don't see anybody in the market unless they want to break the bank and bring in Jesse Bates, which I don't think will happen.
They're $4 million over the cap, so they can't even afford Tart right now.
Exactly, that's the problem.
You know what I mean? Like they got to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo now so they can bring back Tart, whoever they want. Otherwise, they're all gone. All gone.
Yes, exactly. And with Kyle and the coaches leaving, part of me just thinks that Kyle kind of cocoons himself with voices that he's familiar with instead of outside voices that might say, "Hey, Kyle, I don't agree with that. We should try this idea instead of the one you're proposing," because I kind of see that. I don't know if that's true, but hopefully that's not the case with what's going on with the coaching staff turnover.
Yeah. It would be interesting if there was a lot of discussion throughout the year, people saying, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" And Kyle being like, you question me, you question me, you question me. I'm getting people who are, I don't know, hard to say.
Yeah. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully there's some ideas saying, "Hey, Kyle, this idea worked. Let's try it again." Or I understand you want to do this, but why are we getting away from what's been working until they stop it, kind of thing.
Agreed.
So,
Interesting. All right, man. Good to see you.
Thank you, Grant.
Of course. BK, you're next. I just want to get one person ahead of you real quick because this guy got me in trouble. You're next, BK. You got me in trouble. It was all your fault. You were like, trade Kittle. I was like, yeah, that's a good point.
About to say, I'm sorry
and now I'm
for
in trouble.
even starting this snowball effect.
You.
But I also started it by saying he's my favorite player in the league. And I also said that he's the best tight end in the league. I don't even really think it's close or debatable on that one because everything he does because of his injuries, which you hold against him. But I say he does it in spite of his injuries. The only thing why I say that he could be traded is if he's not behind Trey the way he's behind Jimmy. Like, if you don't support the next guy the way you supported him, like, I'm talking like not just, oh, he's our guy. That I'm talking he really went to war for Jimmy. So I want him to be all in. That's my only issue on that one.
Right, because with Jimmy, it was like, Jimmy's a great quarterback. I don't understand why I keep having to say this. With Trey, it's like, we'll see.
Like, and I'm like, dude, do you not realize this guy got you hurt back to back by the same player on the same team? Like, he threw high, and that's what Buda Baker injured him twice with lower leg injuries because Jimmy's overthrowing and stuff like that. So it's like, dude, this is the guy you want, the guy who just threw a 2-yard shovel pass and got picked off in the NFC Championship. Like, I don't know.
It's a football team, not a social club. I know you like the dude. You hang out in Vegas and stuff, but
I just want it to be a business.
Team.
Thank you. I just want it to be a business. You guys can hang out. We saw DeForest Buckner hanging out with him the other day. Like, so he can be on another team and still be your boy. That's my thing personally. You get me?
I agree.
And the reason why I called and say why, I don't want to contradict myself, but like I said, I want to keep him personally. But the reason why I say that you shouldn't trade him, is because, like I said, one, he is the best, and you want to give Trey Lance that, you want to give him that weapon. whether it's to help Trey run or whether it's to have another guy there, to throw to. But the main reason why I say you shouldn't trade him overall, why you shouldn't, is because the message it'll send to everyone else. It's like you already let DeForest Buckner go. That's a wrong you can never right for me personally. Like you let DeForest Buckner go, and then you're about to let Jimmy go. So it shows that we have no unity and we don't stand behind our players, even our best players, as far as DeForest Buckner and Kittle. So I want, how can we make this a destination? Like when people are going to think, oh, if we go there, no matter how great I play, they can let me go at any moment. So it's as far as the message that it sends. We need to re-sign players now. How are we going to get them to want to come back if we let Kittle go? You get me what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why I say we should.
He better stay healthy, man. He better stay healthy.
He better,
man. Figure it out, George.
It's a bad look. He is always hurt, but like I said, he does most of his balling hurt in spite of his injuries. But we do need a healthy Kittle. I'm not gonna lie. But I got a scenario for
you. He missed 8 games the year before. He missed 3 games last year. He limped through the whole season. He played well,
but he did carry us a lot last year too, though.
He had what's he going to be like at 29? Is he going to get worse next year?
It might. All right. Before I ask you the next thing, I'll say this: Kyle Shanahan is running him into the ground too. Yeah. A lot of his injuries are because of Kyle. Because Kyle, maybe it's Jimmy's fault, but they will not throw the ball that much. So he's constantly blocking for the run when him and Juice should be doing way more than just blocking for 60 minutes, personally.
That's true.
But my question I have for you is this. I already know what your answer is, but what do you want in your quarterback? You have quarterback A, who's known for winning, right? He can throw 5 picks. He can fumble the ball twice. He can do all that, but he wins games. He's known for winning. And then you have quarterback B, who's known for perfection, like where he doesn't throw picks and, he gets the ball a lot of time. He does everything, but you don't know if he can win at the next level yet. He's still, a question mark. What do you really want in your quarterback?
I'll probably take the guy who's achieves perfection. I don't know. I mean, winning a team stat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm with you. I want Trey to start. I just thought that was funny because that's literally how I view both of them. Like one is a winner but sucks, and the other one is, we expect to be great, but we don't know if he's a winner yet. Like Aaron Rodgers, he's great, but he's not a winner. He won before, but so I just thought that was pretty funny. But to finish this workout and get back to work, though, I got to call.
Hey, hit that set, man. You got to hit that set, dog.
Oh, this is easy, man. I just took some off.
All right, man. Good to call. Good to see you, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, King. Yep.
You got me in trouble, man. I'll see you around. Dude got me in trouble. Crane, I was watching the video with you and Coach, and you said that Garoppolo was Lynch pick and Lance was Kyle's. But truth is, Lynch scouted Lance and told Kyle to check him out, but told him it's his choice. Oh, good for Lynch. I'd like to think that's the truth. He came out in support of Lance today. Also said B tight end, also solid B tight end, and used GK as a weapon. Split out, take less hits and block smaller defenders. Take less punishment. Revisit GK trade 2023. Am I tripping, or are his serious injuries coming from running, not blocking, not contact? That's what I could be wrong. That's what freaks me out about him. It's running that seems to be the problem for him now. Am I wrong? What's up, BK?
What's up, Grant? Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. Where you calling from?
From Vallejo.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Oh, yeah. So I got a couple takes here. My thing about the trade of Kittle, when you first said it, I was like, man, heck no, we're not trading him. He's a heart and soul. But then I started to think about the Niners' history, right? They traded Joe Montana. They released Jerry Rice, and he went to the Raiders. Like, what has Kittle done? And if you could get another first for him, why would we not? I mean, it makes sense because he is one of the best tight ends in the league, but the productivity and the injuries aren't coinciding with that. So that makes sense. I actually start to agree with you now.
Thank you.
And then the second take about it is with Trey Lance next season, we're going to actually have a deep threat because Brandon Ayuk is going to be able to run the entire route tree. Yes. He doesn't have to run these digs. Debo's not going to be able to just get these quick sweeps.
That's it.
Yeah, the dig. Could you imagine? He's not just gonna quick
Yeah.
digs. He's not gonna run the slant and get his head taken off because Jimmy can't throw past 10 yards. And I love Jimmy. Don't get me wrong, because he took us out of a bad place. The 49ers were terrible before him, and he finally came back. But getting Trey Lance out there, the fact that you could have maybe a 50-yard catch or a 30-yard completion down the field. This Trey Lance plus the running element is just going to be so good. I want to see how Kyle develops him. That's my biggest issue is who has Kyle developed from a rookie to be a Pro Bowl quarterback that ends up getting you a Super Bowl? Like, what has he done in that?
No. His dad hasn't either. They've always done their work with vets. So this is his first project. Let's see what he can do.
That's my point, though, is that we're putting the blame or the onus on, well, is Trey Lance ready? But realistically, it should be, is Kyle ready to
getting
do that?
him ready? Yeah,
and that's what it really needs to be. And I'm kind of like thinking about Kyle Shanahan now is that he kind of chokes in the big games. Not kind of, he has his track record. Yes. Atlanta 2 times with us. It's like the NFC Championship, the Super Bowl. Like, we have to kind of put fire under Kyle to be better. And maybe this turnover of coaching staff is what's going to be, because a lot of those guys were his boys, and they were yes men. They might have just been like, okay, we're just going to do it because Kyle's here, and we don't want to ruffle feathers. But Anthony Lynn and some of the other coaches that he's going to bring in might start to challenge his play. He might not send Trent Williams in motion on 3rd and 1 instead of running the play like we should. So
there might be one person be like, can we please do a quarterback sneak? Can we just do the quarterback sneak that worked all year?
Right. Or a quarterback rollout, or maybe a bootleg, or a boot play action. Like, we got a whole offense. Like, why not? So I really think that that's going to be it. But it's really on Kyle. Do you think, my question to you is, do you think that Kyle eventually will be on the hot seat if he doesn't develop Trey Lance better within the next 2 years?
Yes, absolutely. If this doesn't go well with Trey Lance, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo goes some other team and has a steady career, it'll look very bad. Yes, absolutely.
But the thing about Jimmy going to another team is, if he goes to a team that has decent players around him and a decent defense and a run game, he's going to be able to get them at least to the playoffs, especially if he's in a bad division. So I don't think that should be the reason why. I think it should be more on Trey Lance's development versus what Jimmy does. Because if Jimmy goes to a team that has a good defense and a run game and a good wide receiver, he might take them to the playoffs.
You already know. Yeah. So it seems to me that maybe that's why Kyle was so slow with Trey Lance. He knows that once he's on the field, if it doesn't live up to the investment they made, then he's screwed.
But it could also be like, maybe look what Andy Reid did with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. They said that he had some all plays during practices, and people knew by far from day one that he was better than Alex Smith. But they held him back because they didn't want to give him too much too fast. And maybe with Trey Lance coming from the subdivision, not starting that many games, that probably might have been the best set. And in hindsight, it might have actually saved Kyle Shanahan, because he gets to unleash him next year if he can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, but thanks for having me on your show. This is the first time that I've been on. Yeah,
that was an A+ call. You killed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. See you around. Where'd Adam go? Adam left? Man, he was all right. Rico, you there? Washed up beaches. What's up, beaches? LOL. Washed up. And Kittle's attitude has changed. Who was he as a rookie? Now that he is paid, way different. His WWE mentality has turned sour when GK talks now. It's I think FU full of, yeah, man. He went from being the people's tight end to the corporate tight end. Remember when The Rock was the people, had the people's elbow, but then he got the corporate elbow? That's Kittle now. He is the corporate tight end. Don't you agree, Rico? Rico, what's up?
What's up, man? How you been, Grant?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there. Can't complain.
So I'm gonna ask a question everybody's scared to ask.
Okay.
Do you think in the years to come, Brandon Ayuk has the potential to be better than Deebo Samuel?
Yeah. Deebo Samuel gets hurt more than Ayuk.
That's true.
What do you think?
I think, yeah, because Trey Lance. I think, I don't know. I haven't seen Deebo get his full potential yet, so it's kind of hard to see, but I would say, yeah, because he's younger too.
He could have a longer career, maybe a longer career. Deebo seems like he could be, like a shooting star.
I just want to know, like, do you think Debo would still get the ball like through the air with Trey Lance just as much
I
as
think he could get it more. I think he should get it more. I think he should get 25% of the targets, not 20. He should get as many targets as Cooper Kupp. That's what I think.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Feel me?
My other question was, so I know you've been talking about trading Kittle and all that. So how would you feel about this? I've been talking to my friend. He's a Commanders fan.
Okay.
He doesn't like this trade at all. Trade Jimmy G and Kittle to Chase Young for Chase Young.
I don't think it'll work. There's too much money going out to Washington. I don't know how much. I mean, that's the $40 million going to Washington. I don't think they can do it. You'd have to even out the money.
Okay, so up in if you replaced, I thought about this and add Bosa. You said we're going to have to extend Bosa soon. You could take Chase Young instead of Bosa.
It's true. I'm just saying I don't think that Chase Young's getting traded, man. And listen to your friend, the Washington fan. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want that deal.
I saw Washington Post said they're going to take a quarterback no matter what. They're trading or they're taking one in the draft. So they seem pretty desperate for a quarterback.
Yeah, if they're going to take one in the draft, then I don't see them also trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. They could sign Jimmy if he's a free agent.
Yeah, but you also know the Commanders, Washington is known for making dumb decisions. Man.
They are. But I don't know. Ask your friend how dumb they really are.
My other question.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
My last one.
Uh-huh.
So this is kind of off topic, but I just want to know. So when Kyle Shanahan was on the hot seat like a couple weeks ago, or before we went on the win streak,
yeah,
we were considering hiring new coaches, and everybody kept saying John Harbaugh. They kept bringing him up. What did he do so bad? Or Jim, my bad, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of beef him and York had? Like, I never really understand. I wasn't really there to see it, but
I mean, I don't think Jim Harbaugh respected Jed York. It was 10 years ago. Jed was about 30. I think Jim Harbaugh basically acted like it was his team, didn't really like kiss Jed York's ring. And I think Kyle Shanahan's just a little bit more diplomatic. I think he hangs out with him, makes Jed think he likes him. I think Jim was basically like, dude, you're weird. Don't talk to me.
You think he's a better coach than Kyle for Trey Lance? Jim?
Perhaps, but honestly, I wouldn't want to retread. If they ever moved on from Kyle Shanahan, I'd like the next up-and-coming coach, not some dude who's never won the big game ever. I mean, he's got his issues too, man. He's never won the big game.
Okay, I see what you mean.
I got to take some more calls, Rico, but I really do enjoy your sky.
I agree.
Peace. What else we got? All right. Carmelo, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Grant? How you doing?
Good.
I've been a longtime fan of yours and everything else, but I just got to make a couple statements, with John Lynch. You know how he has his little lies, you can tell, his little tells and stuff when he's playing with his watch. When he was talking about Trey Lance and his, and the footage released, he was playing with his watch saying, I don't know how he got there, and I just think that he knows who released it. And, they just want to have confidence with the fans that saying that Trey Lance is going to be the man next year. And also, Trey Lance is more like an Oprah. Everyone's going to get the chance to touch the ball, rather than Garoppolo, where he just 2019 he leaned on Kittle, and in 2021 he leaned on Debo.
True. Yeah.
He favored.
Yeah.
He favored one person every time, and it's like any other person, it was a lottery.
Yeah. But it seemed like when Lance played, he actually spread the ball around.
Yeah. He spread it to use check. I just don't get why the team with a Lance where he wants to spread the ball and just give it to everyone so everyone can have some stats, and where there was a whole bunch of times where Hughes check was open and Garoppolo never even bothered looking at him.
Yeah.
And same thing with Ayuk. And
I think all freaking season, man.
All season. And I think the situation with the Ayuk was that he was a Lance supporter, and it wasn't Lynch or Kyle's choice to put him in the doghouse. It was Garoppolo.
I saw it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because there was plenty of times he was wide open and he ain't getting nothing.
No.
All he wanted was the ball. Give the man the ball. Jesus.
Exactly. Let him help the team.
Oh yeah, and with Lance himself, he's going to help the team because he's going to give the ball to everyone.
That's right.
It's just trading like 90s talk shows. It was from Ricky Lake to Oprah where everyone's getting the ball. That's the way I figured those two out,
I like that. Where are you calling from, Carmilla?
Connecticut.
Connecticut, man. How long have you been Niner fan?
I've been Niner fan since 1990.
Damn.
I actually lived and raised in South Bronx of New York.
Okay.
So I was a fan then when they came down to the Giants Stadium. I watched their game. I fell in love with Jerry Rice because it was the first time we actually saw a real life football game. And
wow.
And I was like, Niners all the way,
You were hooked. All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in.
Oh, thanks for having me, Grant. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, you have a good one.
All right.
My condolences for your mother also. I hope your dad's okay. He's an awesome man. And we missed him out here. And we hope to see him soon.
Thank you very much. All right, take care. My dad thinking we're going to pick up the Cohn Zone 2 weeks from yesterday. So 2 weeks. I think my dad's coming back. I'm just saying. Brooks.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
Nice shirt. Nice
setup.
Yeah,
I had to represent for,
That's vintage, man.
2019 vibes.
2019, yeah. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, man. So I need to speak directly to the Jimmy G QAnons.
Go for it.
Let it go. Let it go. He's gone. Brady's not coming here.
Yeah.
Trey is the starter.
Yes.
Get behind the man. Treat him like the Bills treated Josh Allen during those first 2 years where they watched him. He did a little bit of flash, but he was a little bit of ass.
Hold on. Treat him like you treated Jimmy Garoppolo. All that effort you spent defending him, that's how you're going to treat your next quarterback.
Dude, go back and look at the stats. And I remember I forgot what show did it. They showed the difference between when Jimmy started those last 5 games and we were 5-0 and we looked good. His stats weren't even better than Colin Kaepernick's the previous year when he started the last 5 games, but the defense was hot boo-boo. Everybody talks about our corners now.
Yeah.
Our corners that year with Cap was hot garbage. Like, I wanted Jimmy Ward gone after that Dolphins game because, I don't know, it was such piss-poor tackling. Yeah. And I'm glad they cleaned it up now. But the fact that with Jimmy, I'm like I said, with Jimmy, let him go. Let Jimmy go. Give Trey, get behind him because everybody's talking about, you got to be faithful to whoever's the starter. I'm faithful for whoever's the starting quarterback. Guess who's starting quarterback?
That's right.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, like, how could you not get behind this kid? He has the arm, the intelligence, and the fact that has the body to be durable. With Jimmy, it's like
there's something about him that makes people uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. What do you think it is? What is it?
I
don't know. I just can't put my finger on it.
Put a finger on it.
I don't know.
Ponder. But the dude has everything that you want. Big arm, the athleticism. Like, he's a big body kid. Like,
he seems to love football, driven. Doesn't seem like he's in it for money or
what
fame.
What got me with him, what made me win him over is when we played Arizona.
Yeah.
And it was the play when his helmet came off and you saw him fight. It looked just like when it happened to Steve Young years ago.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
This dude's a baller. He just all you see is end zone. Like, this dude is everything we look for. Like, get behind the kid, play the kid.
Get behind the kid, play the kid.
Get behind the kid, support kid.
I love that. That's a nice guitar you got there.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Little Fender.
Oh, that's tight. Oh man, Bill and Ted would love that. That was awesome, man. Thanks for calling in, dude.
No problem, man. Take care.
All right. That was tight. Everyone has to call in with a guitar from now on. You have to be better than that. That's the new standard on this show. Hey, Grant, what's the latest rumors you were hearing about the Niners' plans in the draft and free agency? One more question. Is there beef between Lynch and Kyle? I don't know. What am I hearing? I'm not the combine. I don't know. I'm hearing they're going to – the latest rumor is they're probably going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo. How's that sound? They're over the cap. They got to get some cap space. Hold on. JT.
Oh, he caught me drinking some water. What's going on, man?
How you doing, man? Where you calling from?
I'm from the city.
I figured. All right, man. What's on your mind?
Back to the hardball point, man. We really fired a coach that in 4 years his worst record was 8-8.
It's true.
After 9 years of not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like we really and we don't want to go back to that. Just
that's true. Hey, you bring up a good point. What was his winning percentage? Like 75, 700? It was really high. It was like John Madden high. It was.
2 NFC championships in the Super Bowl, and his worst record was 8-8.
Hold on, though. Do you think what would Jed York have to do to get Jim Harbaugh back in the building? Like, what would that apology have to look like? I mean, that seems like a burned bridge and a half, but maybe not.
What me and one of my guys said is that, it stemmed from Jim Harbaugh being a man's man, and he, like you said, he really just didn't respect Jed York. So I don't think it's one of them things that they could go back on.
And I feel like he made it pretty clear to his face that he didn't respect him, and that might have been I think Kyle kind of just fakes it. Like, yeah, we can have dinner.
Another thing I'm curious about is, will we ever be? Why don't we have a history of being like aggressive? Like we've always seemed to be this conservative franchise. Like I remember back in the day, our big bold move was to sign Nate Clements. Like we signed Nate Clements to $80 million. Like seriously, in D4.
Well, you got to remember when they had Eddie DeBartolo as the coach, they were like the Niners and the Cowboys were the two most aggressive teams. But then they put in the salary cap. Eddie DeBartolo got in trouble. He gave the team to his sister, who gave the team to her husband, who gave the team to their kid, who basically relies on freaking Parag Marath, who is very much a let's save money type of dude. It's a whole different type of organization now.
So with all the success Eddie had, why don't they still deal with Eddie?
Eddie got in a lot of trouble.
I mean, I know the whole game.
He had the NFL forced him to give the team up, I believe. It was a long time ago.
But why not as a consultant? It's like, why not deal with,
Oh, that's a great question. Because Jed York doesn't want to work with Eddie. Jed York is competitive. He talks about relying on his uncle for advice. Dude, no. He's competitive. He wants to be better. He thinks he's better than Eddie. He got a stadium built. Eddie never did.
But in Santa Clara, though, like,
Santa Clara, man.
Does it count? I'm from the city, so
is anyone from Santa Clara? No.
Man.
It's a shopping mall.
And another thing that I'm curious about, right? Will we ever get a corner? Like, if you think our last 2 NFC championship losses, look at the cornerbacks we went against: Prime Richard Sherman and Jalen Ramsey.
Thank you.
That worked out for us. We scored 17 points twice in both those games.
Every time the Niners won a Super Bowl, look at the people they had in their secondary: Deion Sanders,
Ronnie
Lott. I mean, great defensive backs. And all of a sudden, Parag Marath comes here 20 years ago and says, DBs aren't important. We're going to save money in the secondary.
And you know what really kills me? Javon Kinlaw basically was out the whole season, and we had to watch AJ Terrell become a shutdown corner. And we could have had him.
Yep.
We chose Javon Kinlaw over AJ Terrell now.
Javon Kinlaw, a defensive tackle who had like 7 or 8 sacks in college and a messed up knee.
Who replaced DeForest Buckner once again, conservative. And how the Rams got all of this money to pay all of these guys, but somehow we don't have enough money to pay DeForest Buckner, and we let guys go and we sign cheap deals. Is it really Parag?
It's Parag. It's Parag telling the organization where the good don't overspend for Buckner because Armstead is a better value. That's how he thinks. That's how he thinks.
That's working out for us.
I don't think that's working out. I mean, I think eventually to win Super Bowls, you got to stop making like money ball decisions. Like you got to stop. What's more important, winning the championship or saving a little money here? And the Niners are all about saving a little money here. All about it.
And as far as
team-friendly deals.
As far as aggressive moves, another thing that I don't feel like I really like that Kyle does, I hate the whole system fit over talent. Like, to be honest, I prefer DK Metcalf over Debo. Because think about like coming out of college, they had pretty much the same knocks on them. Not great runners, not necessarily great hands, injury. Yeah. And to be honest, everybody questioned DK injury history. Debo's missed more game than DK.
True.
And
That's true.
Debo had a great year this year, but the previous 2 years, I feel like DK had a better
Yeah.
first year.
That's true.
Now he does have better quarterback play. We got to acknowledge that.
That is true.
But yeah, I feel
I'd
like
like to see what Debo can do with Lance.
yeah, I do feel like that. But yeah, I feel like we need pretty much a deep threat, corner, and O-line help. What's the latest on Banks? Is he
What's
gonna?
the latest on Banks? I've never seen him play, man. He was, I don't know, but I don't think that they can go into free agency being like, well, we got Banks, so peace. Like, I mean, I feel like that's a kind of a wait and see situation. Let's see what he's got. He's working out right now.
What's with the whole trade Kittle thing? I do want to at least see him with Lance. To at least
the whole trade Kittle thing is that I'm afraid that this injury thing is a trend. The last 2 injuries he's had have been non-contact leg injuries, just running. Like this is giving me like Kevin Durant vibes or Richard Sherman. Is your Achilles going to pop next year? Like what is going on? You're almost 29, and it seems like your body's starting to break down on you. That's what scares me about him. But like if you don't move him this year, you can't move him at all, and he'll be an albatross.
But if it hasn't popped yet, like, is it at a certain point? Is it still? Do you still need to worry? Like, do you really worry about an injury 2 whole years?
The way I look at it is like, do injury concerns go away as the guy gets older? No. And like Debo's 26 and he has injury concerns too, as you pointed out, but I don't think his value is going to go down anytime soon. I think if you sign him, you could trade him in 2 years and still get a first round pick, even if he's had some injury prone years. With Kittle, he's older. He's just real close to being labeled as 30 and injury prone. That scares me. That's the only reason I want to trade him. If he was 25, I'd say no, but he's 28. It's my only thing. I think I lost you. Did I lose you? Oh, you're back. No, I lost you. No, there you're back.
But Debo's injury might be how he's used, though. You know, getting thrown into what you call it, the hospital ball.
No, but Debo's injuries are actually Debo and Kittle are so similar, man. Debo's injuries are groin and hamstring, non-contact. Kittle's injuries are foot and calf, non-contact, both running. Scary, man. But with Debo, he's 26. He's in his prime. You got to keep him. He's still worth a lot, even if you pay him. Yeah. Kittle, I feel like he's now getting expensive. He's getting right to that point where you might start getting diminishing. You might start getting the Jimmy Garoppolo treatment where his value goes down. That's the only thing. And I think Niner fans don't want to think about that. Kittle's value going down. But it could.
And gut feeling, do you think we get a corner finally, like a Stephon?
No.
Or
no. Parag Marath is set in his ways, and it pisses me off. No. They should, though. Man, 26 interceptions last year. That's unacceptable. With that pass rush, they should be picking off passes left and right.
And we can't play any sort of man coverage.
Everything has to be zone off. Like, come on, man. With that pass rush, you should be all up in people's faces.
I'd rather have great corners than a pass rush, because I feel like if the pass rush doesn't get home, you're getting exposed.
Exactly. And if you have great corners, it gives the pass rush more time to get home.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, JT, I got to take a few more calls, but this was A+. You did great. Please call back again.
All
right, man. Later. That was really good. First time. All right, Papa Dragon, you were on last time. I just want to get one dude before you, and then I'll come back to you. I promise. James.
Oh.
I don't think I've had you on the show before. What's up?
Oh, not much. Can you hear me?
I can, absolutely, man. What's going on?
I got you. I came.
Ukulele, man, I love it.
Man, I've been watching for a long time now. I think I tweeted like a year the other day, but I think it's been longer than that, quite a while longer. But anyways, I wanted to just address this Kinlaw thing, because I think a lot of people are missing the interview with the doctor. So what happened was Kinlaw was damaged since high school, right. and they've scoped it before, but what they found this time was it was actually damaged, like in a spot they couldn't see. So when they actually went in, they found the damage that was there that they'd never seen before. So I think Kinlaw is going to have a big year. I think he's going to be healthy.
That would be great, because I don't think DJ Jones is coming back, and I think they could really use Kinlaw to step up and take that spot.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And another one was that one of my favorite Niners
news to spread to the 49ers. Thank you, James.
Oh, another one of my favorite is I've been a Niner fan since like '86. You know, since a long time.
I've only been alive since '88. That's crazy.
Yeah,
okay,
it's a long time since I was a young kid.
Right.
But another thing that I think a lot of people are missing. One of my favorite Niners is Mostert, and Mostert is another guy who's been dealing with a nagging knee injury that he's needed surgery for a while, and he didn't have the equity to just go out and get surgery, not knowing if he'll get another shot. So I think he felt more comfortable now than ever, to get that repaired. So I think you're going to look for something big from Mostert as well. So
you're just the bearer of good news today, man. Do you have any more good news? I'm sold on both now. Whatever you said on Kinlaw and Mostert, they're having big years. What about me? Is it going to be a good year for me?
Well, I mean, Grant, you're having a great year already. I've seen that. I've seen those followers jump, triple, quadruple. You're doing well. And I'll jump in on the Kittle thing because I was riding with you with the trade. I can't remember who you had on the other day, who talked me out of it. And I'm with the better to trade them early than late. But when you get a special tight end like this, Kittle's special. He's special, and I just think the upside to him being healthy. I mean, yeah, he was hurt this year, but he still played. Now,
look, you have to agree. If I could get all Niner fans to agree to trade George Kittle, that would be quite a magic trick. It was a tall glass of water.
I love the Xavier Howard. We do need a corner. Like, come on, Deion Sanders has been the last one. That's the last time we got the chip.
Let me tell you something real quick. If Xavier Howard were on the Niners and had been here the last 5 years, they drafted him, and George Kittle was on the Dolphins, and I said trade Xavier Howard for George Kittle, Niner fans would be like, "No, we love Xavier Howard. Kittle's hurt all the time." What are you? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think you might be right. But I do have to run and go get my daughters. It's early out of school today. I wish I could chat longer. I've been waiting to come on here for a while. I actually just got on to see how easy it was, and I never knew it would be this easy.
Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm in upstate New York, Elmira, New York.
All right, man. I love how people call so international on this show.
Well, there's no honest representation of San Francisco anywhere. So when we're watching the NFC Championship, it's been like this since I was a child. Like for instance, this year it was all talk about Dak and Dallas, even after the loss. And after they beat Green Bay, it's all talk about Aaron. And even had it led up to the Super Bowl, I stopped watching usually when the Niners lose. I'm sure the talk was all about Brady. It's just the disrespect. And they wonder why, see, I'm an A's fan too. So, we have the same type of thing when it comes to the Oakland A's. Sure. They wonder why we can't compete with the Yankees. Well, every dollar on the planet is going to the Yankees. That's all you show.
Yeah, I was like covering these games and I'd be in Dallas. The Niners would win. And then I'd be in my hotel room after the game. Like, all right, let's turn on ESPN and see what they have to say. Nothing but talking about Dallas. Like, they lost.
It's hard to watch.
The season is over. Who cares?
When I was a kid, I watched ESPN every day.
I'm like, thank you, because that's why people watch me. This shit right here. Thank you very much.
That's how we found you. And if I had more Niner friends around me, which, a lot of Giants, Cowboys around here, I'd let them know, even though I let them know anyways. But I'm going to give you your flowers, man. These guys talk a lot of crap about you. Dude, you're honest. You're straight. A lot of people can't see past their hearts, man. And finding you, and when I found you and saw, like, okay, this guy, yeah, he got it right. He's telling the truth. You can tell you're not for sale, dude. I appreciate that. I respect you. Thank you for what you do, man. It's hard finding that stuff in New York.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No problem.
See, New Yorkers know what I'm doing. That's what my dad's a New Yorker. California's over here like, why are you so confrontational? New Yorkers like, yeah. I love that, man. That dude's dope. What's up, Papa Dragon?
Hey, what's going on, Grant?
How you doing, man? I can't hear you. Hold on, you're a little quiet. Can you turn it up?
Hear me now? Anything?
You feel a little? I mean, I can hear you. You just seem a little far away. I'm trying to get the best audio quality possible for you.
That sucks. All right, let me. I'm gonna turn my headset off.
Okay, try that. Room. All right, hold on. I'm gonna come right back to you. All right. El Jefe, what's going on?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got the game face right now. What's up?
What's going on, man?
Man, I'm chilling.
Just one thing. I mean, a lot of fans, I think they're taking it too personal, man. Like, I've been a 49er fan since I've been a kid. So, I've been around since Davis, Steve Young, I saw a little bit of Montana. So when you say get rid of Kittle, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's not something to disagree with. But, I mean, he can still block, because I think I made a comment earlier. He can still block. So even if he is on the decline of productivity, it's like, you can still hold on to him for a little bit and see where he goes, because I get you on the injuries. But I mean, I just feel like a lot of people are being a little too personal. But question for you: What do you think is more important? Do you think the offensive line is more important, or do you feel like we need more help in the secondary?
I think the secondary is a bigger need. I think the offensive line is right after it, but they do have the best left tackle in football. That's a good start. And Laken Tomlinson, if they can bring him back, that's solid. That's 2 solid starters. And the secondary, Tart's leaving. The corners are okay. Jimmy Ward's good. I'd like the Niners to get someone who can intercept passes. Like, they don't have anyone with ball skills in their secondary. I think that's really a big oversight, and I think it's going to be hard to get that unless they spend money or draft it in the first, second round.
So let me ask you this: who else do you think we should get rid of besides Jimmy, though, as far as contract? Now, because I think Ford, don't we would get some more money with him.
Ford, right? You could cut him. You could cut Jimmy, and then if you want some more salary cap space, you can't really. The thing about trading Kittle is you can't. It's not for salary cap space. You wouldn't get much. You would have to do it after.
Right, that's why I say, it wouldn't make sense to do
what
it.
you're doing is trying to swap him for another player. So Kittle would not be a way to get cap space. That would be D4 Jimmy. Anyone else?
I mean, I like the restructure though. I like there's a couple people who could possibly restructure.
Ward and Armstead. Yeah. Particularly Ward, like he's in the last year of his contract. If you want to keep him around, you could extend him, restructure, make him.
I like Jimmy. I think we should keep him. I think we should keep him. So let me ask you this: so who do you think we should go after as far as DBs? I mean, I've heard Cook, I've heard Petrie. I know it's still kind of early. A lot of people, you still haven't seen these guys for it, but
I would be cool with them getting a guy like Tyrann Mathieu to play alongside Jimmy Ward. I think that'd be a pretty cool safety tandem. I like Tart's a good safety, but to me, Tart and Ward are too similar. They have the same exact strengths and weaknesses. They're both versatile. They're both good in man-to-man coverage. Neither one has hands. Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry, Jaquaski. You don't. So I think a good compliment for Jimmy is someone who is with hands, someone who actually can catch a. I mean, Tarts. I mean, come on.
Yeah, get some turnovers. I agree.
Yeah, and someone with some speed because Hufanga is too slow. He's
special things.
Yeah, I agree. I got to take a couple more calls before I'm done in 7 minutes, but thanks for calling in.
All right, man.
Have a good one. Yo.
Hey, is this better?
Much better. Let's talk.
Awesome. Hey, real quick, just want to compliment you and send prayers to your family. I lost my mom, 2 uncles, and an aunt to COVID in November.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
After
when it rains, it pours, right? Jeez.
Yeah, no, it happens, man. But I'm real proud that you're still doing your thing. You're still speaking your mind. And I think that's important because you don't ever do it disrespectfully. Obviously, I wish that, people wouldn't put so much stuff into things emotionally, especially on social media, because at the end of the day, what you said was an opinion about Kittle. I mean, I disagree with it because I want to make my particular call today about Trey.
Sure.
And everything's about Trey Lance. If Trey doesn't have some measure of success this year, okay, that is going to snowball through not just the fandom, but through the locker room as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when people sit there and say, well, the secondary is more important, it's not. The offensive line is more important.
Okay.
It's more important to get Kittle restructured. We need this young kid to have success because he has a lot of pressure on him, a lot of unfair pressure. You have, and believe me, I know what this is like. I really do. And, coming from a multicultural background, we have multicultural kids. My kids are part Jewish, Italian, they're part Black, they're part of a lot of things.
I'm Jewish and Italian. We have a lot in common.
Yeah, we're paisans.
Cool. Nice.
So, but, you look at social media, 83% of it is just bad, nasty crap. And Trey gets it from all sides when it comes to racial stuff, and it's not necessary. His situation is not racial. When you're on a football team, let me give you an example. If you have 2 quarterbacks who are close, and one quarterback is better than the other guy, but this other quarterback can play wide receiver, as a coach, you're going to put the better quarterback at wide receiver. You know who that happened to? Ryan Tannehill.
That's right.
Okay. But yes, you will get labels. If you look at Trey's body type, you look at his speed and things like that, you instantly start imagining where you can get the most out of him. And a lot of times that's not going to be quarterback because they want you to throw the ball from the pocket. Okay. people don't run around and say, I have to have a mobile quarterback. That's what I want. Sometimes it falls to you and you make that decision. But at the end of the day, you're trying to take him from Steve Young to Steve Young Hall of Famer, which is pocket passer. Okay?
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about Trey Lance. It's about the offensive line. It's about restructuring Kittle. And I guess my thought process to you is I truly believe that Jalen Moore will be the left guard this year. If they keep Laketon, and I'm hoping that they can, I was wondering if Laketon could actually transition to center. Because at that point, it makes sense to give him a bag if he can transition to center. Because he's an Iron Man. He knows the system for like the last 5 years. He can play. Can he transition to that position? Because if he can, that's going to open the door up for Moore to jump into the left guard spot and also back up left tackle. And then we can see where Aaron Banks fall. And I didn't like the Aaron Banks pick at all. To me, it didn't make sense. Because I always try to explain to people, because I have a football background, played in college. I worked for several NFL teams. I was one of those people that was trying to digitize film and make applications and stuff like that. And lucky for me, it enabled me to retire at 47 years old. Okay. Nice. So I still have a lot of contacts with people who work in NFL. And I even been offered the opportunity to work as a scout because sitting there looking at hours and hours of film, you see how to pick things up. Plus, I also did audio, sideline audio for ESPN for college football. Cool. So that was a lot of fun. So the way I see it moving forward, to me, this season's all about it's all about making sure your young quarterback is successful and has the support he needs. I totally get what you're saying about Kittle, though. I really do, because if you look at the numbers and you say, hey, he only has this many touchdowns and this, that, the other, there's just a bigger psychological impact that Kittle has for this team as far as the psychology of winning, that having that Viking warrior in the locker room pushing everybody to go past their limits. Am I concerned about his injuries? Absolutely. But the bigger concern I have about his injuries is really the injuries of the entire team. I don't believe the problem is fixed. I really don't. I think they have with their training staff. And I think that's one change that should happen. And the last thing I want to touch on and let you do your thing is the coaching situation. People were calling for Kyle's head around week 4, week 5. And I wasn't one of those people because I know he just signed a contract extension.
Right.
However, I know how coaching works, which means that if your offense isn't doing very good, there's going to be some turnover. Mm-hmm. So if you're a coach and you're coaching and your offense isn't doing so good, you better start getting those resumes out there and reaching into those contacts. So a lot of these people who left, they were going to be leaving anyway because there's a chance they could have gotten fired. As you saw with the quote unquote was the demotion of their tight ends coach, and then they wanted to cut his salary. Again, that was one of those things that they're literally like saying, okay, Kyle Shanahan, his seat probably got a little bit warm to the point where he had to make some coaching changes or was going to have to. And I think that's kind of what led to the offensive coaching exodus. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything about Trey Lance. I don't think there's anything about Garoppolo. I really don't. And the whole racism, colorist bullshit that's going on it's just that. It really is. For people to say it's because of the color of his skin, no, they're wrong. It's the color of Garoppolo's grip on the locker room. And your dad said it. I love your dad. Your dad was like, look, Garoppolo's got to go. Cut him. He's right because he's seen it happen before. Yeah. That's what happens in the locker room. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Shanahan has that overall grip that people think he has. I think that he has basically kind of like a tribunal of team players that he goes to get a feel for the locker room. And he kind of goes with the momentum of the locker room. Now on game day, when he's like got the headset and he's calling plays, I think that's different. But trust me, in this particular league right now, if you know you don't have a place to go on a team offensively, and you can make more money coaching in college, which is typically the case, and have better security, then you're going to go coach for a college team and try to move laterally so that you can move up. The McDaniels hire is just that. Even people threw race around that one. It's just, I don't care what the guy looks like. Can he coach? Can he play? And with Trey, I think he's smarter than Garoppolo. He's bigger. He's stronger. He just has to get more experience. But you don't want him running for his life. I don't. I don't want him running for his life, and I don't want him running for his yardage. I don't want him taking tacklers on. I don't want him running 16 times a game. I want him to take free yards, run out of bounds, slide. That's what I want, because I want the kid to be able to play for decades, because they got a good one. They do. Upstairs, he has everything upstairs that you want in a professional quarterback. Super intelligent, super smart, and he has the best privilege of all, and that's parental privilege. Being prepared to be the best since he was a young child, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going to bed at 8 o'clock at night until he was a junior in high school. And players like him, players like Cooper Kupp, what makes them great is the parents that put 100% into them. And that is what's awesome. And I'll give you my last example, and I'll let you go. I got twin girls. Guess what time they get up every morning? 5 a.m. Guess time to go to bed? 7:45. And they're in one of the top 5 schools in the country that you have to test to get into.
Wow.
So, making long story short, let's get behind Trey Lance. Let's get behind the 49ers. Let's stop trying to polarize ourselves. And let's stop trying to polarize Grant, because your take wasn't short-sighted. It makes sense. It really does make sense. If I could get a number 1 pick for George Kittle, I'd have to pause. I definitely would have to think about it. I don't think that's coming, but I would pause for sure. But I don't think that I would be actively shopping him, because at this point he means too much to the locker room, and he means too much to a young quarterback coming in that needs an outlet. And Kittle, he draws attention from defenses. He just does. Doubles, triples, all that stuff. So I think, like I say, I get it. And I would pause for a first-round pick. But, there you go, Grant.
Thanks, Papa.
Look, man, thanks again to you. Just a lot of respect for you. Your dad, unfortunately the earth doesn't stop spinning, but you guys just keep on living, man, and be positive, and don't keep nothing in. Just keep talking, and you guys will get through it.
All right, man. I'll see you around. Take care.
All right.
Sorry, man. What's up?
Can you hear me, Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe scouting assistants when they come in, just kind of a fun deal.
Yo, Brad, how's it going, champ?
Oh yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I was watching John Lynch live. I turned it down.
Oh,
You good?
Nice. What's up?
Man, so I wanted to know if you heard about the is it Ram Carthon potentially being in the talks of a Steelers GM position?
Oh, they haven't hired a guy yet?
No, and I heard that he was a potential candidate. So I wanted to see if you knew whether or not would we get a conditional pick for that?
I think they would. Did they get one for Martin Mayhew?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
I believe we got 2.
Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, definitely. That would be good, for us. I'm not saying that I would like to continue to see our staff and the organization just fizzle out and have to replace all of these individuals. But again, the picks are something in return would at least be to our benefit.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good call. That's a good call. Rand Carthon could be the guy. I mean, a lot of people think Louis Riddick is the top choice, but he's a media guy. He's always going to have his name in the cycles because he's a media guy, and he hasn't gotten hired. Maybe they want someone who's got like a recent track record of success, like someone from the Niners.
Yeah, they are poaching away, huh? I mean, it's kind of crazy how there's just a lot of guys. You would have thought we won the damn Super Bowl and not the Rams.
That's a good point. But I think the Rams staff has been poached so many times. I don't know how many people are left that are desirable. Although one guy just got hired, didn't they? Didn't one guy just get hired from there as a head coach somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah. I believe I know their offensive coordinator. Yeah.
O'Connell. Who is that? Where did he go? O'Connell. Who cares?
Off the top of my head, I can't really say right now. I can't remember. I remember seeing it, but I just off the top of my head, I don't remember. And then actually
Vikings.
McVay.
Vikings.
There we go. Yeah, and then McVay actually blocked one of their assistants from getting hired. I don't know who was trying to get him, but it was one of his one of the minority coaches that was there. So he did, try to keep somebody. I wish, Kyle must have a master plan of replacing all of these guys, and just I know he doesn't want to hinder them from being able to have other opportunities and being able to elevate, which I respect. I'm just thinking about what what we can potentially be missing out on moving forward if we don't have really a upscale or quality coaches, individually to replace these guys, and how that will affect our player, personnel and their performance. You know what I mean? So those are just little things that I think about.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else in your mind?
Kyle, man, the arrogance, the inability to admit when he's wrong thing, I've been talking about for a long time. And I know you talk about it as well. Kind of similar to the thing with the Jimmy, with the we stuff and not saying I and taking accountability for things. I'm wondering where he gets. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? But that's the only word he learned in class type thing. But I'm concerned. It was like, is this a hereditary thing? Did he learn it from his dad possibly? Or like how he just, he's like, well, I wouldn't have changed my, my decision because, he completely just disconnects from any portion of accountability and saying he wouldn't have done something differently. And does he feel like he's like, is he feel like he's taking a back seat by taking accountability? I mean, that's what we do as adults and individuals, men, women and so on and so forth. It's like, hey, I was wrong. That was a bad move. This is, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. But he doesn't seem to do that much. I think I only heard him take accountability like one time the whole damn season, if I'm not mistaken. And
I think him and his dad might see it as a survival tactic. Like, don't give the media ammunition to run you out of town. Don't explain what you're doing poorly. But what's crazy about that is Kyle gives the media ammunition on all his players. I mean, he gives backhanded praise to his quarterbacks. He tells you everything that's wrong with Brandon Ayuk. So he's really good at protecting his own job status value, but not his players.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. And I think that it's kind of strange that after the years of experience that he's had, it's like, it's okay, Kyle. It's okay to say I was wrong more often than not. And if you are, be the one to take accountability for it. Don't feel like people are gonna be looking down or dissecting you. They're going to actually praise you for it. They're going to say, well, look, he took Kyle took the blame for it. It took ownership. And that's what we want to see. That's what they're going to talk about. They're not going to say, Kyle took the blame and it's all his fault. They want to hear you say that. So I think he's kind of thinking about it maybe in the wrong way. And, the players would want to see that too. I feel like there's probably players and guys that want to hear Kyle do those kind of things because that's something that they practice. I mean, listen to Fred Warner when he talks, listen to Trey, even as a young 20-year-old, just past his rookie, introductory season. He was, accountability all around the table, was very, studious and accountable. So to see those examples from younger guys like himself and then other guys as the coach, I feel like it should be coming from you as well, I just kind of bothers me because we lose a lot. We lose out on certain things, even in the game, him out thinking himself. And, you've seen it. We've all seen it. It's like, come on, Kyle, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And, he's, I don't know, man. He's very self-inflicting with the wounds here. And we're all having to,
well, he's got a big year ahead of him this year. He's got a lot to prove this year. EMA Beats, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem, champ. Take care.
I got to shut the show down now. I meant to go an hour and a half. It's been an hour and 40. AK, Serge, Bryant, Jaden, I apologize. But I'll be back on Saturday, and I'll move you guys to the front, I promise. I'll see you guys in a couple of days, guys. All right? See you.